K-Nation, sponsored by K-State Superstore and 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Tonight on K-Nation, it's an exclusive interview with KU Athletic Director Travis Goff, and he tells us why the Jayhawks' success on the football field could help the entire school.
Plus, I sat down with Keontae Johnson to hear about his return to basketball after a medical emergency kept him away from the game for years.
And you may know him from Twitter or perhaps your favorite Three Maw podcast, but Cole Manbeck, he joins us in studio to talk K-State hoops and, of course, the upcoming Sunflower Showdown.
Welcome to K-Nation. I'm Lainey Gerber.
And I'm Glenn Kinley. We'll get to those interviews and stories, and you definitely don't want to miss that Keontae Johnson story. But first, It was a busy weekend of basketball, Lainey.
Yeah, Kansas up to number 2 in the nation, in the rankings and in the nation this past week, and they just keep winning. They aren't easy wins, though. There's no such thing in the Big 12 as an easy win this year. It's 2 wins this week by a combined 6 points for the Jayhawks. First, a win over Oklahoma that came down to the wire.
Yeah.
And then a win over number 14 Iowa State that also came down to the wire. Tied 60-all with seconds to play. KJ Adams played hero to keep the Hawks undefeated in the Big 12. After the game, Coach Bill Self sounded like the rest of us. He is just a fan of great basketball.
When you play other teams that are good and well coached and tough and confident and everything, that's how games go. And so I think the one thing that you saw today, you saw 2 teams that enjoyed playing in a tight game like that, in an atmosphere like this. You know, our crowd was unbelievable. It was a fun game. Those are the most competitive games.
Basketball is fun, Lainey. That's all there is to it.
Crazy
The
concept.
Jayhawks, they're 16-1 overall. They're 5-0 in the Big 12. Still a lot of roadblocks ahead, but, man, what a start for the defending champs. Hard to have a better start.
No, definitely.
Well, you talk about a gauntlet. K-State, their basketball team picked up a close win of its own earlier in the week. That was against Oklahoma State to move to 4-0 in Big 12 play. But yesterday was maybe their first slip-up, you could call it. The Cats headed down to TCU. It was pretty much all Horned Frogs from the jump. Anytime K-State would make a run, TCU would regather the momentum and kind of punch back. K-State with its first Big 12 loss, and they got a couple tough ones ahead. Number 11 K-State at number 17 TCU. That was yesterday, and then 14 Iowa State at number 2 Kansas. We've had some ranked matchups in the area, and after the loss, Coach Chang was asked how his team stays away from hitting the panic button.
Panic about what, right? I mean, I don't know our record, but I know we only have 2 losses. So, I mean, there's nothing to panic about. I got a veteran group. I got a bunch of winners in that locker room, both on the staff and on the team. And this is the Big 12, right? And I don't know anybody's expecting anyone to go undefeated in this league. And you can prepare and you can play well and still lose, right? And so, yeah, there's no panic here. This is on to the next thing. Tough teams do the next right thing, and that's what we're trying to do. Get on this plane real quick.
So K-State will look to bounce back, and this, of course, sets up a huge Sunflower Showdown on Tuesday. The most anticipated one we've probably had in a while. We'll have more on that matchup later in this show.
That's going to be an exciting one for sure.
I know. I'm sweating just thinking about it. Not a great week for the Kansas women's basketball team. After a 12-1 start to the season and a 2-0 record in conference play, the Jayhawks have now lost 3 straight. A loss to Texas earlier in the week, then a loss at Oklahoma yesterday, where the Jayhawks held a lead in the second half, but they couldn't get it done. Wyvette Mayberry still finishes with a 20-point game, and Tiana Jackson, as we call her twin, held to 8 points, but a strong 13 rebounds. Jayhawks play host to West Virginia on Wednesday.
Kind of a similar story down the road for K-State women's basketball. Strong start to the season. They've hit a rough patch as of late. In fact, the Wildcats on a 3-game losing streak now with a tough loss to Texas Tech yesterday. The Red Raiders just couldn't miss a shot. In fact, they had a player put up 37 points. 73 would have been
still a monster.
That would have been a next level. Briley Glenn, though, she had 24 for the Wildcats, and K-State will head to number 18 Baylor on Wednesday. Well, one K-State men's basketball player is doing superhero things on the court this season. I'm not talking about his dunks either.
Yeah, well, his friends call him a genie because everything he's been doing this season, he has been talking about for the past 2 years that he's had off from basketball. So here's how Keontae Johnson's perseverance is inspiring others.
2 years felt like 4 years. A lot of days where you down.
Keontae Johnson isn't playing basketball like someone who took 2 years off.
Johnson with a throwdown. Oh my!
To come out the gate that fast, I don't think anybody expected that.
You would, expect to see some type of rust or some type of, process to getting back to the top. For him right away, since he was able to, start running and doing contact, he was he was elite.
On December 12th, 2020, Johnson passed out after a timeout during a Florida men's basketball game.
It basically was like a freak thing that happened. I mean, they still was trying to do tests. They still have my medical stuff, so they still been looking into it and doing a lot of research behind it.
Luckily, the only injury he had was a busted lip, so there wasn't much to recover from. But because of the uncertainty surrounding his collapse, Johnson had trouble getting doctors' clearance to return to basketball.
I knew teams was going to be scared to take the risk would pick me up, so Coach Tane let it be known from day one that he wasn't scared. He just see how I can help the program, which made it stand out for me to come here.
There was no apprehension on his part or on our part. He wanted to play. There's this great desire in him. He just loves the game of basketball.
And when he could finally play again, a school's medical staff was one of his top priorities.
I had to find the right school that had like the perfect medical team. So it was a lot of schools I wanted to go to, but the medical wasn't up to date. And I just feel like with Coach Tane, he had a similar situation at Baylor with one of his former players. How they was up to date with the doctors, making sure I was gonna see all the doctor's appointments. To this day, we still do a lot of doctor's appointments with them.
Johnson doesn't worry about collapsing again, but his coaches and teammates make sure they're taking care of him anyway.
We're so thankful that Mom and Dad had a piece about our staff. That includes Luke and Phil and Dr. Wall, everything that we had in place to help Keontae and to monitor everything.
Through it all, his goals stayed the same.
Still trying to make it to the NBA.
That resilience is inspiring this generation and the next one.
For me, it's a blessing just to see how much kids still enjoy watching me play. I mean, I could have gave up, and I feel like that could have changed a lot of people's lifestyle of just seeing me give up, and they feel like it could have been the right way to give up.
He's like a rock star here. He's giving high fives, he's shaking kids' hands, he's talking to them, he's being very, transparent with them, and that's why they love him so much.
And he could have given up, and everyone would have totally understood why
2 years
and
away
taken
from
it
the
as
game.
a good reason.
Yeah.
But he was determined to keep playing. So
like Marquis said, he's a rock star.
He is.
That's all there is to it. All right, don't go anywhere, folks. We've got plenty more to talk about here on K-Nation. In fact, there was a celebration in Allen Fieldhouse yesterday, and not just because of that big win. We'll hear from some of your favorite KU basketball alums who were back in town for the weekend.
Plus, as we do every week, we will show you this week's top plays, moments that put the crowd on their feet from the Jayhawks and the Wildcats.
You have to live.
I'm sorry, Tex.
You don't have to be sorry. You never ran from anything in your life, and you're not going to start now. You got to fight it. Wait a minute. Oh, snap. Dallas just covered the spread. We got the money, baby.
Jamie.
Bang.
Jamie, could you just... Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hold off!
Okay. Where was I?
Oh, I was dying.
Dying. Let's go.
Sorry.
We're here in Peru right now giving glasses and free eye care to people who need it the most. And really, it's because of you, our awesome Success Vision customers. Every time you buy glasses at Success Vision, a portion goes to helping people all over the world. So from everybody here, thank you. I'm David, and I'm proud to be a Success Vision manager.
To bed for 39 in an hour for less. Come see us today, Success Vision Express.
Are you a super fan? K-State Superstore has the largest assortment of licensed K-State apparel and souvenirs waiting for you. And with our Super Fan Rewards program, you'll enjoy even more. Fans can experience K-State Superstore at the stadium, online 24/7 at kstatesuperstore.com, and our new flagship location at 520 McCall Road. K-State Superstore, official retail partner of K-State Athletics.
The school day doesn't stop for the flu. I stay ahead of the class and on top of my health by getting the influenza vaccine every fall.
I want my daughter to have a healthy start. So I'm taking my doctor's advice and getting the whooping cough vaccine. The right immunizations during pregnancy can safeguard both of us.
Your primary care provider is your trusted source for all your healthcare needs, including vaccines. Learn more at beimmunekansas.org.
Well, so many fans saw a great game in Allen Fieldhouse this weekend, and so did so many alumni.
Yeah, it was an exciting place. Multiple eras of Jayhawk men's basketball returned to the Fog yesterday. They were celebrating that 125th anniversary of KU men's hoops.
That's a lot of years.
Oh, yeah. And there were a lot of wins, too. Tons of former Jayhawks in the house, coaches and staff members alike. The Ted Owens era, the Fog Allen era, the Roy Williams era, and, of course, the Bill Self era. All in attendance and all honored at that game. Some rich, rich basketball history.
Yeah, the 2008 and 2022 championship teams also got a special welcome. Bill Self said this is why there's such a big expectation at KU to win, because of all of these great eras before then. And all the alumni were so excited to be back home.
Kansas basketball is a privilege if you get to be a part of it. It's a privilege to be a part of it, and you know, it'll always be some of the best years of my life, and just a highlight of my life, and just so happy I was able to have that experience playing here.
When you're 93, you look back at your life and so forth, and it was 63 years ago that I came here to interview, and oh, it's been a blessing. And the biggest blessing is working with the finest young men that I can ever imagine.
Man, he knows how long it's been since he interviewed for the job.
A big smile on his face. You can tell he was speaking right from the heart there. That's a fun celebration with some old friends. Mitch Lightfoot and Chris Teahan, a couple Jayhawk legends. They were also there. Of course, a win makes the day a whole lot more fun for everyone involved. And not just a win, but a rather exciting win, Link.
Definitely.
All right, here's a look at our top plays of the week. For KU, it's an obvious one. KJ Adams, the game winner against Iowa State. Tie game with just seconds to go, and that does it for the Jayhawks as Kansas moves to 5-0 in conference play. Check out the big man playing a big role in a big win.
Oh, yeah. Well, for K-State, it was another rim rocker. Cats up by 3 against Oklahoma State with under a minute to go. I think we all know which play this is going to be. Shot clock expiring. Marquise Noel lobs it to Keontae Johnson, who hammers it home. One-handed even.
Oh, my.
And in slow-mo, it's almost better. Bramlage went crazy for this one, enough to secure a Wildcat victory over the Cowboys.
Well, that was huge, not just because the dunk was so cool, but because of the magnitude of where it was at in the game. If they don't get a bucket there, they might not win.
Yeah,
so.
There's no bigger exclamation point.
That was fun to watch, too.
Yeah, and Jerome Tang even said he's not a guy who lets out a curse word, but he did there. And
yeah,
had to do
because he was in
after.
shock.
Yeah. Well, coming up after the break, it's an interview with Travis Goff you won't see anywhere else. I sat down with the KU AD, and we had a lot to talk about. Goff is a Kansas kid living out his dream, and we'll hear from him coming up.
Hear that? Each edge of your seat.
He blows the body off the car.
Entertainment at top speed. Camping World NHRA races where top drivers compete to be the best. But don't blink.
And who's got the horsepower? It is going to be Justin Ashley. A dazzling Top Fuel final.
You could miss it. It's the Menards NHRA Nationals presented by Pet Armor. August 11th through 13th at Heartland Motorsports Park in Topeka. Every ticket's a pit pass and kids 12 and under are free. Get tickets early and save at NHRA.com.
Mental health is about emotional health and brain health.
Healthy children and families, and a healthy Kansas.
Go to acmhck.org to find your local community mental health center.
It's time to update your kitchen with Countercraft. Bring your ideas and your measurements or we can measure for you. We have quartz, granite, and quartzite on site to choose from. Let our team show you how easy the process is from start to finish. Countercraft is where craftsmanship matters.
Sports! We have everything
that you're looking for
at Play It Again Sports.
New and used sports and fitness equipment with used up to 50% off retail.
You can create your own discount by trading in and trading up. Sell us your gear and get cash on the spot, or even get store credit.
Play It Again Sports has something for every athlete. All seasons, all sports, on any budget. We're open every day in the Fairlawn Plaza Mall.
Game on!
2023 brings new opportunities with over-the-counter hearing aids, and New Sound has them. We'll provide a free ear health check and hearing evaluation. You don't have to guess. Call New Sound.
Have a cute kid? Sign up today at KSNT.com and we may feature them in the news. Featured kids will receive an achievement award from Bonkers. Watch 27 News weekday mornings to see if we feature your kid. Cute Kid of the Day is sponsored by Bonkers.
Welcome back to K-Nation. There is a whole lot more that goes on behind the scenes in college athletic departments than just what you see, which is maybe the coaches and the players on the court or on the field.
Yeah, earlier this week I caught up with KU Athletic Director Travis Goff to talk all things Jayhawks. You've hired a coach who has made KU's football program the best it's been since 2008. And we know that a successful football program leads to more ticket sales, more money for the athletics department in the university. But what else does having a successful football program do for a university that we might be overlooking?
Yeah, so much. We got to live it and experience this past fall, multiple sellouts, and just feeling the sense of energy and passion that it brought, certainly to the alumni base and the fan base, and you felt it on game day, but you felt it every day of the week in between as well, and that was pretty special. Multiple things happens. Number one, it really engages and brings to life an alumni base across the world, quite frankly. And to my opinion, in only a way that football can in our country. The reality is college football is pretty unique in America, and the passion, the pageantry, and all the things that it does. So we definitely felt that. I think a segment of the alumni base and the fan base that hadn't been paying as much attention broadly was activated and brought to life. I think when you think about, you know, economic impact for the city of Lawrence, not just the city of Lawrence, but frankly for the region and to an extent the state. I mean, there was absolutely, I think, a tangible impact of having full hotels, having full restaurants, retail here in Lawrence, you know, both Fridays and Saturdays before and after the games. And, you know, I think in particular coming off the pandemic, that's more important than ever. And that a university truly does add great value to the community that it resides.
And I was really impressed with just the amount of KU people who were in Memphis for the bowl game, too. I knew they were excited, but you think Arkansas is a little closer. They might take up more of the city. But no, KU fans were out there, and they were rocking. Does this fan base ever surprise you with its loyalty?
You know, I don't know that I would say surprise. I probably would, you know, use the word better to describe it as inspires us. I mean, be honest with you. In Memphis, we had high hopes. We'd heard and we'd seen numbers of tickets sold, and we'd talked anecdotally to so many different supporters out there. There was nothing that was going to get in the way of them making that journey to Memphis. And sure enough, it showed up that day and on game day and throughout. And it was special. And I think what it does is it just gives us more fuel as a university, as an athletic department, certainly as a football program, to continue to do the work that it requires to continue this build. I mean, we had a good year. We took major steps, but there's a lot more ahead in this journey. And it's not about, for us, having this blip on the radar, having these great storylines, or this one team that took a step. It's about doing something that we fully believe can be sustained here at KU.
And you hired a new baseball coach as well. On a scale of 1 to 10, how stressful is it hiring a new head coach?
The first one's really stressful, and in particular, you think about the stakes that go into football. So as I rewind about 21 months ago when I got here at KU, and knowing we had an interim and a vacancy in that head coaching position for football, those stakes were high. But I think if you have the right approach and you have the right preparation, that alleviates, frankly, a lot of the pressure. From there, we hired an incredible women's golf coach, and Lindsay Cool, who's doing an amazing job already in just a short time frame, and then this last summer, most recently, Dan Fitzgerald for baseball. Each one of them, I think there's less stress, there's less angst, and you have, I think, a little bit of a formula for how you want to go about those searches. And the reality is KU attracts amazing candidates.
Yeah, and you're not just hiring other Power 5 coaches and just one-upping their salary. You're taking, you know, mid-level Division I coaches, you're taking recruiting coordinators and making them into head coaches. How do you assess that they're ready for a head coaching spot here? Yeah,
well, I mean, I think each one of those, you know, scenarios is differently, and I'll just say maybe a quick word or two about those. Number one, Lance Leipold. I mean, you can't argue with what he achieved on the Division III level, truly building a dynasty, one of a handful that you could even qualify as a dynasty in the sport of football over recent decades. And that's what he did at Whitewater. And it wasn't, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 years. It was year after year after year. And D3, you go, okay, well, that's D3, that's different, non-scholarship. The reality is he's competing in an apples-to-apples environment. So he was able to achieve that against programs that had similar resources, similar universities, et cetera. So pretty significant. Then to see him take the step and do it at Buffalo, a great place, but a challenging place for that level of football, just layered on the fact that this guy's different. He has an approach, a mentality, an identity, a culture-building process, and then in a lot of ways a staff that had been with him on that journey. And it was pretty clear that was the profile that we desperately needed here at KU.
Well, don't go anywhere. We have got an in-studio guest up next.
Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Cole Manbeck is here. We'll ask him how Jerome Tang's team got this hot start and what the Cats will have to do for a win in that Sunflower Showdown. That's right after this break.
Come out to the biggest party in the heartland, the Country Stampede. Headliners include Hardy, Lee Rice, and Cody Johnson. July 13th through 15th. Tickets and camping on sale now at countrystampede.com.
K-State, KU, all sports. K-Nation, Sunday nights at 10:30 on 27 KSNT. Sponsored by K-State Superstore and 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Change the way you live by changing the way you sleep. It's the New Year's celebration of it now at the Mattress Hub. Relax in luxury with free adjustable bases, free delivery, and our famous 1-year comfort guarantee. Hurry in and save up to 50% off, only at the Mattress Hub.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, it's my job to make sure we have the best buffet in the US of A.
Impeccable.
New record! Wobbler. I'm on it. I don't do it for the glory. I do it for the buffet. More icing.
Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.
Creamy. Brain freeze! Carl, why?
Meaningful relationships built upon trust is a founding principle of the Trust Company. We help individuals and businesses create tailored financial plans and diversified investment strategies that adapt over time to your unique needs. Because we are independent, we can offer flexibility and creativity that many advisors and trust departments can't. If you aren't sure where to start or you're looking to make a fresh start, contact us today for a free consultation.
Come out to the biggest party in the heartland, the Country Stampede. Headliners include Hardy, Lee Rice, and Cody Johnson. July 13th through 15th. Tickets and camping on sale now at countrystampede.com.
Welcome back to K-Nation. It is time to chat it up about all things Wildcats, and Glenn and I brought in the perfect guest for it.
That's right. We got Cole Manbeck here. He hosts the 3 Mall podcast. You got to check it out wherever you get your apps if you want. Cole, thanks so much for being here, man.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I've looked forward to the show. Really enjoy it.
Yeah, Cole's a Rossville, Kansas native, so just down the road from us here in Topeka. Yeah. We're going to talk some Wildcat basketball. I think we need you to look into one of these cameras and tell people not to panic. It's just one Big 12 loss, right?
Look, I tweeted that out after the game. Look, bad games happen, and I think it was probably unrealistic to expect K-State to rattle off 3 road wins in a row against top 25 teams. In this league, it's daunting. It's a gauntlet, and so I would not overreact and panic. I think most K-State fans would rather it happen in Fort Worth than on Tuesday night against the Jayhawks.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think is just working for this team right now? These are all guys from different backgrounds, different parts of the country, coming together on this one team for this head coach's first year in the area.
Well, I think it all starts with Marquise Noel, obviously, right, guys? And he's been a tremendous leader. One of the 2 guys that returned for this program, and he's really taken a leadership role for Jerome Tang. And point guard is so important to Jerome Tang at Baylor. Pierre Jackson, he had Kenny Cherry, he had other stud point guards at Baylor, and it's so key to this offense that they're running. Marquise Noel, K-State's offense is actually 4th in the country in assists per field goals made nationally, and that all starts with Noel. And look, he's going to shatter the single season assist record at Kansas State, already 144 assists. The assist record is 186. He's been a stud, and then obviously Keontae Johnson. If it wasn't for the medical incident at Florida, and I said this in the offseason, Keontae Johnson would have been the #1 guy in the transfer portal this offseason, and he's just been a star.
Yeah, he's been really good for him. We talk about Marquise Noel. He's made just massive improvements from last season. This past game against TCU, he only had 2 points in the first half. What did they do to shut him down, or are teams going to use that as maybe a blueprint to try and slow him down?
Well, I worried about that a little bit watching the game, right? TCU, they just have incredible length and athleticism and depth, and I just think they got K-State rattled early on in that game, and K-State pressed too much, and they struggled from there on. Noel had 6 turnovers. He could just never get it going until the last 6 or 7 minutes when the game was out of reach. I think teams are going to throw some triangle and 2 at K-State. I think Bill Self may try that. He's done it in the past when they had Clemente and Poland. I would not be surprised if they do that with Keontae and Marquise Noel. But I think ultimately they'll adjust. Jerome Tang said after the game they just didn't do a good job preparing their guys. And look, like I said, it's a gauntlet going through this league, another road game. I think they'll get things figured out and adjust.
Yeah, the triangle did start with the professor at K-State
That's
too,
right.
so it could make its return
That's right.
there.
You never know.
So who do you think, with teams, trying to shut down Marquise and Keontae, is there anyone that you expect to really step up as the season keeps going on?
Well, I think Naquan Tomlin is really that key guy. Now, he's third in the team in scoring, nearly 11 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, and I think he's an NBA guy in the future. This is a guy that only has played 4 years of organized basketball, 3 years at the JUCO level, but did not play in high school. Came out of New York City. Tremendous athlete and a skill set that's really unique. You don't see a lot of 6'10 guys that can put the ball on the floor, get to the rim, and also shoot it a little bit. And I think as he gets more acclimated and comfortable, either going up against Big 12 teams the first time, I think when he goes through these things the second time against Big 12 competition, I think he's really going to kick it into gear.
You mentioned it. Pretty big game on Tuesday, right, for the state of Kansas as a whole. Do you have keys for a Wildcat victory in that one, maybe?
Yeah, well, I think rebounding is where it starts. You look back at the game in Manhattan last year when K-State blew the 20-point lead. KU just dominated K-State on the boards, especially in the second half. And I think one of the big things against KU, they're so long because at the 2 through 5, they're all 6'6" or taller. They're really long at the wings. I think they're going to put Kevin McCullough, who was a top 5 defensive player returning in college basketball this year by defensive rating. I bet they put him on Keontae Johnson, and then DeJuan Harris is a defensive pest going up against Marquise Noel. That's going to be a fun matchup.
It's going to be bumping on Tuesday night, a big game, kind of like football, the most anticipated, I think, Sunflower Showdown we've had in a while, for sure. All right, Cole, thanks so much for your time, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me.
Don't go anywhere. More K-Nation comes your way right after the break.
Jefferson's is the perfect spot to watch the game. Come try our new Loaded Macs, or pull up a seat at the bar and match our cold draft beer with our new Mac Burger. Find us at 29th and Wanamaker in Topeka or online at jeffersons.com.
Hi, this is Voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you will be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. For 24/7 non-judgmental support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Golden Corral on Southwest Wanamaker Road has been locally owned since 1999. Come join us in our newly remodeled dining room with updated decor, a stone fireplace, and an enhanced buffet area. Breakfast served Saturdays and Sundays. Pickup orders and catering available. Golden Corral in Topeka is looking for great service-minded people to fill positions with advancement opportunities. Serious applicants can walk in to complete an application.
Come on in and join us
at Golden Corral.
Jefferson's is the perfect spot to watch the game. Come try our new Loaded Macs, or pull up a seat at the bar and match our cold draft beer with our new Mac Burger. Find us at 29th and Wanamaker in Topeka or online at jeffersons.com.
All right, we're going to take a look at the updated betting lines for the Big 12 basketball title. Kansas still the favorite. K-State, perhaps some value there. I don't know. Maybe the lines are changing every week as teams win or lose.
Yeah, Vegas has K-State as plus 1,000. That's $10 to win 100. While the odds makers have Kansas as minus 220. That's $22 to win 10.
Kansas took a big jump there this weekend because now they're the only unbeaten team in Big 12 play. So they were, it was them, Iowa State, and K-State, and then Iowa State lost to KU, and K-State lost as well.
Too. Yeah,
right.
Sunflower Showdown is going to determine a lot.
Going to be very fun. Thanks for watching K-Nation tonight.
And make plans to join us next Sunday and every Sunday. Have a great night.
I thought we played great. I thought they played great. Guys, that's a high-level game.
We'll panic about what, right? I mean, I don't know our record, but I know we only have 2 losses. So, I mean, there's nothing to panic about.
Coach already tells us every day that it's just going to be a battle, so we kind of expect it going into these games.